Most people with an IQ in the top 2% don't wake up believing they're geniuses. More often, they wake up feeling like they don't quite belong. While the world assumes extraordinary intelligence makes life easier, many gifted people quietly experience the opposite. They don't feel superior. They simply feel different. From childhood, we're taught that intelligence is life's greatest advantage. Brilliant students are praised. Movies celebrate prodigies who change the world. Society repeats the same message. If you're smart enough, success should come naturally. But this is where the myth begins to fall apart. Psychology tells a far more complicated story. An IQ above 130 is generally considered gifted, allowing someone to process information quickly, recognize patterns, and grasp abstract ideas with unusual ease. Yet intelligence doesn't simply improve problem solving. It changes the way a person experiences reality. A highly intelligent mind doesn't just find more answers. It sees more uncertainty, more contradictions, and more possibilities hidden beneath every decision. While most people naturally simplify the world, the gifted mind instinctively explores every layer beneath the surface. That ability is extraordinary, but it comes with a cost. Intelligence doesn't automatically create happiness, confidence, or success. Sometimes it makes life more psychologically complex. The same ability that helps someone understand the world more deeply can also make it much harder to navigate. One of the defining traits of highly intelligent people is what psychologists call a strong need for cognition. They don't think only when they have to. Their mind is naturally driven to question, analyze, and explore almost everything they encounter. For most people, thinking is a tool. For the gifted mind, it's a constant state of being an internal engine that never fully shuts down. Even after a conversation ends, the analysis continues. They replay the words, the pauses, the expressions, and even the things that were never said. One thought quickly becomes another. This becomes especially noticeable at night. When the world grows quiet, their mind often grows louder. A conversation from earlier in the day connects to an old memory. That memory becomes a future possibility. Moments later, they're reflecting on human nature, relationships, or the direction of society. Without realizing it, they're following several trains of thought at once. Over time, this constant mental activity becomes chronic overthinking. Highly intelligent minds naturally simulate future possibilities. They detect risks early, expose weaknesses in a plan, and mentally test outcomes long before they happen. That ability is incredibly valuable, but it carries a hidden cost. When your brain sees too many possibilities, every decision becomes harder. Every answer creates another question. Every solution reveals another potential problem. Instead of creating certainty, intelligence can create hesitation. Psychologists call this analysis paralysis. The mind becomes so aware of every possible outcome that choosing a single path feels overwhelming. Ironically, the same brain capable of extraordinary insight can become trapped in endless loops of prediction, doubt, and reflection. For many gifted people, their greatest strength eventually becomes their greatest burden. The mind that sees farther than most often finds it hardest to simply live in the present moment. Another hidden burden carried by highly intelligent people is what we might call the curse of awareness. Intelligence doesn't just improve problem solving. It sharpens the ability to recognize patterns, inconsistencies, and the hidden dynamics beneath everyday life. While most people accept what they see, the gifted mind instinctively looks beneath the surface. It notices contradictions in social systems, unspoken power struggles in conversations, and the subtle ways people protect their own interests. Ordinary situations can quickly unfold into layers of deeper meaning. At first, this feels like an advantage. It helps them detect flaws, understand complex situations quickly, and recognize patterns long before others do. But heightened awareness gradually becomes emotionally heavy. The more clearly someone sees the imperfections of the world, the harder they become to ignore. Most people naturally filter out complexity so they can move through life more comfortably. The highly analytical mind often can't. Once it notices something, it keeps returning to it, searching for a deeper explanation. Awareness becomes a double-edged sword. It offers clarity, but clarity often comes with emotional weight. The more reality someone sees, the more of that reality they have to carry. A Polish psychologist named Kazimierz Dabrowski spent decades studying gifted individuals and reached a remarkable conclusion. Highly intelligent people didn't simply think more intensely. They often experienced life more intensely as well. He called this overexcitabilities, heightened responses to both internal thoughts and external experiences. In simple terms, it's as if their psychological volume is permanently turned up. The first is intellectual overexcitability, an endless curiosity that constantly questions, explores, and refuses shallow explanations. The second is emotional overexcitability. Emotions such as empathy, joy, sadness, or moral outrage are simply felt more deeply. The third is imaginational overexcitability, a vivid inner world that constantly simulates both inspiring possibilities and worst-case scenarios. The fourth is sensory overexcitability. Ordinary levels of light, noise, or stimulation can quickly become overwhelming. The fifth is psychomotor overexcitability, an abundance of mental and physical energy expressed through restlessness, rapid speech, or intense enthusiasm. When several of these sensitivities exist together, life is experienced at full psychological volume. Beauty feels breathtaking, but disappointment, conflict, rejection, and injustice become equally intense. For many gifted people, the greatest challenge isn't managing their intelligence. It's learning how to manage the intensity with which they experience the world. Another common pattern among highly intelligent individuals is perfectionism. From the outside, it looks like a strength. Inside, it often becomes an invisible trap. Long before they begin a project, they can already picture the perfect outcome. They imagine flawless execution and the ideal version of what could be. Reality, however, rarely matches that vision. Even when they succeed, they often focus on what could have been better. What others celebrate as an achievement may feel, to them, like an unfinished compromise. Over time, this constant gap between the ideal and reality creates enormous pressure. Many psychologists describe this as gifted burnout. The child once praised for limitless potential becomes the adult exhausted by impossible expectations. Ironically, the same intelligence that allows them to imagine extraordinary possibilities also makes them painfully aware of every perceived shortcoming. Instead of celebrating what they've accomplished, they often become consumed by everything they believe they still haven't become. One of the greatest challenges highly intelligent people face isn't intellectual difficulty. It's social disconnection. Psychologists have long observed what is often called the communication gap. The greater the difference in how two people process the world, the harder genuine understanding becomes. Gifted individuals rarely crave more conversation. They crave deeper conversation about psychology, philosophy, and the hidden patterns behind human behavior. Everyday life, however, revolves around small talk and routine interactions. While these conversations help people connect, they often leave the analytical mind quietly unfulfilled. Over time, many gifted people begin to mask themselves. They simplify their language, avoid complex ideas, and hide the intensity of their thoughts just to fit in. It works, but every time they hide the way they naturally think, they feel a little less understood. For many highly intelligent people, loneliness isn't the absence of company. It's the feeling that no one truly understands how their mind works. This isolation can eventually lead to existential depression. Unlike depression caused mainly by personal loss or stressful events, existential depression grows from confronting life's biggest questions. Why are we here? Why does suffering exist? What, in the end, truly matters? Highly intelligent minds naturally return to these questions because abstract thinking is simply how they experience the world. While this depth of reflection can produce creativity and wisdom, it can also make everyday routines feel strangely disconnected from what seems most important. These experiences create several quiet paradoxes. They understand problems with remarkable clarity, but cannot always change them. They experience emotions deeply, but struggle to fully express them. They search for extraordinary meaning, while still living ordinary lives. None of these contradictions mean something is wrong with them. They are simply the result of experiencing reality with unusual depth. So, does exceptional intelligence mean carrying a lifelong burden? Not at all. The real burden is isolation. When gifted people spend years believing no one thinks the way they do, their greatest strength can slowly become their greatest struggle through overthinking, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion. Everything changes when they finally meet people who think at the same depth. The isolation begins to fade. Curiosity becomes connection instead of loneliness, and intelligence becomes what it was always meant to be: a tool for creativity, understanding, and meaningful contribution. If today's video resonated with you, we'd love to hear your experience. Has your greatest strength ever become your greatest struggle? Share your story in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to realize they're not alone. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind the human mind, subscribe to Mind Decoded. Every week, we uncover the unseen patterns that shape the way we think, feel, and experience the world. Perhaps your mind was never the problem. Maybe it was simply searching for people who could finally understand it. Because intelligence isn't the curse. Feeling like you have to carry it alone is.